Welcome to the Wealthy Circle Forums, where we will hear from finalists that are paving the way in the wealth management industry. Today, we're talking about technology, specifically the unified systems and platforms versus best of breed platforms, where there's a lot more in the way of integration between third parties. Today, we're going to hear from technology experts and learn about their latest developments in integrated technology and optimal ways to streamline your front and back office. I'm joined by Donna Bristow, Chief Product Officer of Wealth at Broadridge, and Jen Valdez, President at intelliflo. So Jen, I'll kick it off, start with you. In your opinion, which do you guys find sort of the most efficient, an all-in-one platform or best of breed?
Thank you so much for the question and for having me here. Definitely, we see the direction of travel is towards the all-in-one platform. Best of breed solutions have been serving the job for many years, but it comes with a lot of challenges in terms of true integration. But we're big believers in that, elegant experience for advisors and their customers. And so I think all-in-one can mean many different things. I'm sure we'll talk about that, but definitely see that as the direction of travel.
And Donna, I'll kick it over to you to answer that same question.
Thank you, and thank you for having me today. When we look at wealth, it's very interesting because you have to provide flexibility to a firm and to the advisors. And from a Broadridge perspective, we've moved to an open architecture where we provide that integration, but it's an integration between our own Broadridge capabilities, a firm's proprietary capabilities, and best-in-class third-party capabilities. Having that ability to have an advisor be able to pick and choose the capabilities they want to use in order to serve their clients, also meet the needs of a firm, so you can provide that all-in-one, but with the flexibility is absolutely the direction that we see, very similar to what Jen's explaining. It's just how you offer that to a firm.
And with this next question, I'll start with you, Donna. What are some of the recent developments in technology that you think that advisors should be paying the closest attention to?
It's really around the providing hyper-personalization, digitization, having an advisor provide information that's specific to their client, being very personalized, but being able to offer it in a very tech-savvy digital way so they can manage many clients in an easy, automated fashion is really key. As the investors become far more tech-savvy themselves, as well as start doing a lot of their own DIY research and investigation, it's really important for the advisor to understand the real particular needs and wants of their client. So being able to provide that hyper-personalization and communication with their clients is really becoming important. And then from a technology perspective, how can we enable advisors to do that in the most efficient way is what we're really focusing on.
Jen, going over to the next question, what does intelliflo do to help advisors streamline both their front and back office? And what do you think advisors are most looking for when they are talking about that aspect of things?
Yeah, I mean, definitely that seamless experience. And I will echo what Donna said earlier too about making it easy to use different technologies. All-in-one platforms can be many capabilities, but I'll echo what Donna said in terms of being the open and architecture in terms of be it specific technologies that they use today, and then also leveraging platform intelliflo Office as an example. But in terms of, in terms of the advisors, I mean, I really think it's truly that experience the advisors are looking for. They want to spend time with their clients, they want to grow their business, and making the technology easy to use and also accessible to their customers. There's some things that we, want to self-service or we want to have access to and access to information in a tailored way and not have it be swivel chair. It needs to be for the customer very easy to find what they're looking for and have access to that information in a tailored way. So I think those are some important things that are, we're working on here at intelliflo and making, really we want to broaden access to advice, make it more accessible to more investors, There's a large segment of the community that doesn't have access to that advice. And so making it where it's efficient for advisors, but also broadening access to that advice is very important from what we're working on here at intelliflo.
Donna, how about you? How would you respond to that question about how?
I absolutely agree. The ability to enable collaboration between the advisor and their client, making sure that, they're looking at the same type of information. It's very specific to that client based on their interests, their needs, their investment focus, but then also making data available to the end investors where they can do their own research, they can do some of their own trading, but again, keeping that collaboration for even that hybrid model. We talked about a hybrid advisor experience where it's really a shared relationship where the investor will do some of their own investment initiatives, but always touch base if they have an advisor to the advisor. It doesn't mean they have to talk to them every day, but you want to ensure that you're making the data and the information and the capabilities available, and that it's a consistent experience between the advisor and the investor.
The next question is, it's for both of you to respond to. I get this question a lot from advisors, and I like to ask the providers this as well. What, from your firm's perspective, and if it's a little different for you personally, and maybe where you want to see your firm going or the industry going, what does personalization mean to each of your firms? And I guess I'll start with Donna to keep up in the same order we've been going.
Yeah, sure. So, personalization from our perspective is the ability to provide data from all the different components within the workstation that an advisor is using to a particular investor. So the ability to run AI analytics, to be able to say, Donna's interested in these types of ESG mandates, Donna's interested in, this type of stock, and being able to automatically link, whether it's content for education, information, product information capabilities, etc., to make that very easily accessible to an advisor for that, to enable that communication, to have that discussion in an automated fashion, and really make sure that it's very personalized to that either one investor or a group of investors that have a like investment mandates. So again, you look at the industry and advisors in many cases are having to have bigger books, more clients. So how do you really provide that automation to enable that relationship as they go through their whole life cycle? So, from starting their investments to, having a family, going through the whole life cycle management to retiring, estate planning, etc. How do we automate that for an advisor so they're the most effective way in delivering a service to help them grow their business and support their clients, but still making it very personalized to that individual investor and their needs? And that's really a really big focus for us. And, you mentioned, we bought AdvisorStream a couple years ago, and just enabling that digital content and linking it to holdings, using AI, using analytics. It's really enabling that to add information to enable that conversation.
Jen, what about you and intelliflo?
Well, one thing I love is the term mass personalization. I think we've
bit of an oxymoron, right?
Yeah, we've heard it tossed around, but I really, it goes to the heart of understanding the needs, wants, and goals of the end investor. And how do you do that in a personalized way? And, I work across a lot of different financial firms, and it's looking at client segmentation and the level of service and how you engage with those customers. I think it's super important, but, obtaining that information, needs, wants, goals of the end investor, and then personalizing it to their investments and how you engage with them digitally or in person based on how that customer wants to engage is super important. But the leveraging the technology, though, to help support and execute on that commitment of personalization, but in an efficient way, hence back to the mass personalization. So, the customer wants to really know that they're being taken care of. I think also this is where technology can help a tremendous amount. We know we're in a heavily regulated space. The annual reviews you need to do with your customers. How do you make sure you also, not just that initial engagement, but ongoing, how do you leverage technology to create efficiencies from a compliance perspective, but also there's major life events that happen for your customers, and how do you take that information and effectively, it may require a portfolio change or an adjustment in the financial plan, for example. And so it is, I agree much of what Donna said. It's super important that the books are getting bigger, there's more pressure to grow the business, but do it in a more efficient way. And that's where technology can play a very important role with maybe some of those tasks that aren't, they have to be done, but they aren't high value in certain areas. And so leveraging technology can play a big role in that.
Yeah, and Jen, the one thing that I would add to that is that, having the confidence in technology where when you do make an update to that key information, whether it's a life change or a regulatory need for an investor, ensuring that the technology can record at once, but then leverage it across many of the capabilities that the advisor needs to leverage in order to facilitate a conversation or a model mandate change, et cetera, is so powerful. And quite honestly, it's going to become table stakes in the future in order for advisors to really be productive.
Well, I was going to ask too, it's been a big this last year, and I guess it's been really more like a year and a half for you, Jen, and intelliflo. And I guess we'll start with you, but to both of you, a little over a year and a half ago, intelliflo really became the brand name of what was several tools under the Invesco hood there for advisors. And I know that there was going to be a lot of sort of integration to create a more platform that felt like an all-in-one platform for advisors. I don't know if you want to maybe touch upon some of the work that's been done to bring together, say, Red Black and Jim Step and Portfolio Pathway. And I know I4C, I think, is mainly going to be used in the UK, but if you can talk a little bit about sort of what's transpired in the last year for those advisors maybe less familiar.
Yeah, it's been a journey, and we have some best of breed capabilities. You mentioned Red Black being a trading rebalancing solution is one of them. And then intelliflo Office in the UK, over 30,000 advisors using that platform with $1 trillion of assets on the platform. So it's one thing to rebrand as we've done under the name of intelliflo, but it's been a very intentional strategic investment we've made to get onto a common architecture. So it's one thing to have made many acquisitions, but they live on separately. And that's not what we've done. Instead, we've made the commitment to move these capabilities onto a common architecture. There's a lot of benefits that come from that. We also are in multiple geographies, UK, US, Australia, for example. And so we localize into those different regions, but it is one platform, and then we configure it for our customers. So as Donna said, data and how you leverage data and integrate with other solutions is all comes from the architecture, and you have to get that right. And we've made a big commitment on that front. And so we also use our intelliflo store. There's over 100 technology solutions in that, and that's using our APIs as a way to integrate where there are other solutions that the financial institution is using and wants to have integrated with intelliflo Office, our all-in-one platform. So it is a journey, but it's a very, very big commitment we've made, and we are implementing right now in the US, and we'll have broader market availability next year for our all-in-one platform, intelliflo Office. And so that comes from Invesco, who owns us, acquiring these different companies and then bringing them together under intelliflo.
And Donna, I know it was a big year for you guys too. Well, and a couple of years ago, you made a big and substantial investment with a few other big firms in Tiffin Group. You talked a little bit about AdvisorStream, and I know Broadridge already had its own sort of marketing platform, and that the AdvisorStream was being integrated into that. And you touched on that, but maybe you can touch on some of the other, maybe go in a little more depth about all of that, and or any other acquisitions or big projects you have going on at Broadridge.
Yes, thank you. So Broadridge has been on, again, it's a journey. It's not a one and done. So, we've been on a journey to modernize and create an integrated componentized wealth platform. We've invested a lot of time and effort to create the platform, which has many, as I mentioned, many Broadridge capabilities or components, many partner components where we do not have that capability, and we really want to leverage best-in-class partners, as well as clients can integrate their own technologies. Clients like to invest in key areas and build their own technology as well. So, our integrated platform is componentized, and based on a firm's needs, you can put the components together from a front, middle, and back office perspective. Part of the development we build our own capabilities, but then we also, we acquire some really best in class as well. AdvisorStream was one of them. Digital marketing we see as, a key component as we look at personalization. It's used, to help educate new products in the industry like alternatives and crypto, but it also helps with, a client moving through the various aspects of a life cycle and, really communicating and getting out information between the advisor and the client, leveraging AI, personalization, et cetera. So AdvisorStream's been very key in our whole component strategy. Integrations, we're very focused on integrating our capabilities amongst each other as it fits into the platform. So Tiffin is a great example. We have a relationship with Tiffin. They have some terrific capabilities that go direct to the investor, and integrating that with some of our other capabilities like the digital marketing, like client onboarding or securities-based lending. It provides that integrated experience. And from an advisor perspective, it's seamless, which is really important. Again, how do we make advisors more productive? How do we give them the flexibility to pick and choose the capabilities that they want to use in order to service their clients, not only for today, but also in the future? So we've invested a tremendous amount opening our architecture, leveraging APIs, web services to enable that integration and provide that capability out to all of our clients and firms alike. So we started that journey a few years ago. It's been exciting. It's had terrific, response from the industry because as Jen says, the whole market is moving this way. We have to find ways of bringing productivity, a new digital experience to investors, as well as for us, digitizing operations as well is very important. So, having the technology and leveraging new services and capabilities is key to meet the needs in the future.
Okay, well, we're getting to the end of our conversation here, and I wanted to ask each of you if you had any final comments you might want to share. Donna, since you were speaking last, though, we'll throw it to Jen for that.
I think just if we anchor and focus on the end investor and their experience, we'll get the technology right. So sometimes it's easy to get tangled up in the weeds of data and integration, et cetera. But if really you sit in the seat of the end investor and the day in the life of an advisor trying to meet the needs of their customers, we'll prioritize and work on the right things and really get that elegant experience that needs to happen. And, there's all kinds of customers and they all want to engage in different ways, but that's where technology can play a very important role. So we always keep that as our true north and say, the end investor experience and making sure that there's not this swivel chair or, as Donna said, conflict of information and access to information. Then that will make it a rich experience for the investor, but also create those efficiencies for the advisors, which is paramount. There's a need for more advice in this world and access to that advice. So the more we can empower advisors and make their work easier, the better it will be for this industry as a whole.
Well said.
I completely agree. I think in some cases, people do lose focus on the end investor. And really, when you get to the heart of it, the industry is really, wanting to enable that everyone has, financial stability for retirement. We want everyone to enjoy a good life. And to do that, you really have to understand their needs today and in the future. And so providing a good experience, providing the service in a manner to which how they want to be or receiving this experience through understanding and knowing the investor is key. And then how do you provide the tools for an advisor to really enable that and build that trusted relationship that is so important. I think that's really the goal for all of us in the industry, and technology will definitely play a key role. And it's great to hear we're all focusing on the same things from a technology perspective. So the more that we can collaborate and really keep the end investor in mind, I really think that'll bring success to the industry.
Great. Donna Bristow, Broadridge, Jen Valdez, intelliflo, I want to thank you both for joining me today. Thank you to our audience for listening to this Wealthy Circle podcast. For more Wealthy Circle podcasts, visit WMTV on wealthmanagement.com. Thank you everyone for your time today.